Well, howdy, chums, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Gardening with Farmer Steve show. I am going to try and impart upon you some of my vast wealth of gardening knowledge. Well, chums, the secret to my success is all right here in front of you. The Garden Patch Grow Box Kit. It consists of a plastic tub that holds water from here to here. The top portion holds the soil. It has this little mat on top that keeps weeds from growing. And underneath it is the secret seasonings. This is the various kinds of blends of fertilizer. You don't ever have to do anything else, chums. You just put it together, put this on, put your plants in, and water them daily. But I've even conquered that. I've come up with a watering system, which we will go into after I show you my various and sundry plants. The grow box system comes with the mat that has numbers on it. It tells you what kind of plant you're growing, what numbers to cut out. In this pot we have okra. You can use 8 plants of okra. A couple of them don't look like they're doing real good, but we'll see by next show whether they made it, because I think they will. But this is how okra starts out. I did use plants from Home Depot, or maybe Ace Hardware, I forget which. Being that they ride home on my scooter, sometimes they get a little crunched. But we're gonna see what happens. That is a good pipe. Chums, in this next pot, we have peppers. The grow box system allows for 8 peppers. It recommends you use plants of the same size so that they can all get the sun. And they'll tell you how many of what kind. Again, they allow 8 peppers. I've got 2 green peppers. Peppers beginning to form, you can see already. 2 red peppers, 1 yellow pepper, 1 sweet pepper, 1 banana pepper, and 1, the hottest pepper in the world, the habanero. They recommend you plant them deep, and this year I did. Last year I had them too high. They still grew, but they didn't grow up nice and straight like this. So I've already improved upon my gardening abilities in 1 year. Oh, that's a good pipe. In this box, we're growing squash. They recommend 6 squash. I've got 3 crooked neck squash and 3 straight neck squash. I'm probably going to have to put a trellis back here to keep them growing up high, because Debbie doesn't want stuff just growing down to the ground. That's the farm dog in the background, probably chasing away squirrels, protecting Farmer Steve's plants. What a dog. Now this is tomatoes. I've got a beefsteak tomato and a big beefy tomato. I don't know how these will work out. The beefsteaks I did over winter. Didn't turn out too good, but we had a lot of frost, and the sweet babu had to cover them. But they did okay, but not great. These are about 2 or 3 weeks old from plants. Looking quite nice. This box, again, we have 2 tomatoes, the recommended grow box amount. This little fella down here is a husky cherry tomato, because we'll show you in this next box, we got the hundreds of cherry tomatoes. It grows lots, but they're not very big, so we thought we'd try a bigger one. He doesn't seem to be enjoying the change from his other box to here, the transplant, but he seems to be doing better, so I still think he'll wind up good. The other fella's going to town. And this box was started with my winning box that they sent me from Grow Patch Garden Boxes. Yes, I was voted one of the country's best growers, for which you will see my picture. Actually, you'll see the pool more than you'll see me. I guess they wanted a picture in front of the pool, but I did get a $35 grow box. So these have a head start on everyone else. This is 2 100s of cherry tomatoes. The lady told me I was going to buy a different type. She said, get these and you'll have so many tomatoes you won't believe it. And you can see, we do. We've been eating off this already. This thing's only about 6 weeks old. It has lots and lots of tomatoes, but they're really small. Nice, but that's why we tried the husky cherry tomato. So we'll have all sizes, from beefsteak, big boy, husky, and hundreds. So I've got 2, 4, 6 tomato plants growing this year, chums. We'll see how they're doing by next show. And in the number 7 and final box, we're trying something new this year. Got to experiment as a farmer. These are eggplants. I don't even know how they grow. Somebody told me they're bushy and on the ground, and somebody told me you can make a trellis for them. We're going to try for the trellis. Well, chums, this was my original watering system, which I still like. It was nice to come out and water, visit with the plants and whatnot, and I still use it to refill the water bath. It has different settings. I've actually got it on the high jet setting. It helps clean this thing up even. But it has a whole bunch of different settings. Down here low and refill. Reach up high to fill. Not to fill, but to water the hanging baskets. So this works just fine, but I'm going to show you something even better, chums. The recommendation of my brother-in-law Nelson, we are using an Orbit 4-field water timer. This allows you to water 4 different fields, which I'll show you how this works in a second, from anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. That's all fine and dandy if everything you're watering water every day needs to be watered 3 times a day, but I'm doing some things that don't. And that's why for right now I'm only using 2 fields here, and we'll show you I have another watering timer on the other side of the house. The negative to it is, if say you have 1 field you want to water 3 times a day, but your other 2 fields you don't need to, that would overwater them. You can't do that, because if you set like for 5 minutes to water the plants, and 4 minutes for something else, and an hour for the staghorn ferns, it would do it 3 times a day, and I don't want that. I only want to water the hanging baskets once a day, and I want to water the staghorn ferns for about an hour every day to fool them into thinking they're out in a rainforest. And so far it's working. We'll show you in a second, chums. But that's the watering system. It's a little bit complicated to get it set. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. What I have chosen for the hanging baskets is a mister. I don't know if you can see that, but instead of just putting one stream in one place, it mists the whole basket. I've got these set right now for 10 minutes a day, but I see that that's too long because it's dripping out, so I'm just washing away nutrients. I'm going to reset that. That last plant you just saw was one that came back after freezing. When we had to freeze this winter, I forgot to bring him in. But you see, he is coming back. This is one where if you're smart enough to bring it in the winter, is what you'll start out with in the spring. It will have some beautiful red flowers here quite soon, and the hummingbirds like both it and the store-bought hummingbird food. Now folks, what I've done over here in the rainforest, right now I've got 3 of those little spray heads, one above the orchid, one above this staghorn, it's way up high, I don't know if you can see it, and one here. I'm thinking of adding a couple more because I like that rainforest effect in the morning. It's really fun to come out here and sit and watch the birds and enjoy the fine mist. These fellows down underneath were lucky enough to just get what rolls off. This staghorn is pretty old. When before I even married Debbie, 38 years ago, this guy was hanging in front of her dad's house, and Mom and Dad's house in Miami. There were 2 of them, twins, and they were big then. And someone stole one, so her dad moved the other one up to Orlando, this guy. And after her grandparents died, he moved down to the Keys. He didn't particularly like it in the Keys. It was probably too hot and too much sun where he was. So Granddaddy said, bring it on up, and we have him put him under the tree. He's really enjoyed it here. It is a little difficult in the winter because they are not cold tolerant. We have to cover them, and it's a lot of work, but it's been worth it. This fella started out as just a little sprig on a board, probably about 35 years ago, and he's doing quite well. The orchid I've had for probably about 10 years. He's only bloomed, when I got him he had a bloom, and he only bloomed one other time after, and at that year I tried a different type of sprinkler system, and he liked it. So I can tell this fella's liking it from little green buds that are coming out of them rudy looking things. I don't know nothing about orchids, I've just put them up there and it's worked. I have the greatest hope that I'm going to get another bloom again this year because he does look like he's enjoying it. It's real nice to have the 1 hour sprinkler in the morning because it gives the rainforest effect, and you can sit out here and watch the birds and enjoy the rainforest. The birds seem to enjoy it too. This is where I feed my birds. You think, why is Captain Steve attracting birds around his plants so they'll eat them? But no, I keep them well fed, they got a place to drink, they're not hungry, you take a little bath, they stay full, they don't eat the plants. This is the squirrel attracting station. I'm trying to keep the squirrels well fed, but somebody has been chewing through my hoses. They've done it twice now, and so I'm trying plan B, keeping them fed down here so they aren't going there. I hope for their sake it works. I hope you can hear me over the pool pump, guys, but this is another 4-head system that I'm using. I've got this set to come on 3 times a day, only for a couple minutes each time. It's enough to fill the water buckets on the grow pots. I'm using 3/8 reduced to quarter, and I get good water flow. I haven't yet buried the lines because I'm not sure exactly if this is how I'm going to keep it, but so far it's doing a fine job. This is how I've run the water into the boxes. I put this much plastic tubing of tea, so you can put it in there like that, and it holds it in, it won't blow it out. I found that I can do 2 boxes off of 1 hose. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 off of 4 hoses. And so far 2 minutes a day might even be too much. 2 minutes a time, it goes 3 times a day, and you can see how the hoses are. This is a plant we rescued from the neighbor down in the Keys. He was just going to throw it out. It didn't look like this when we got it, and I haven't yet hooked up a rainforest system over here, but I'll figure it out. This guy's done pretty good even without the rainforest. More than I can say for the orchids that I used to have here. Maybe I better get the misting system hooked up pretty quick. Chums, I sure hope you've enjoyed the Gardening with Farmer Steve show. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you'll tune in to the next episode. I hope you'll find gardening as much fun as I have and as productive as I have. Ta-ta!